Although it might seem like it, you are never alone on your earthly journey. Never, ever, ever, ever. Because you have guides who are actually helping you, guiding you, whispering in your ear on the other side. And we're going to highlight 4 types of guides and how you can connect with them. And then I'm going to share a story about how I was actually able to uncover the name of one of my guides. And I'll show you how you can do the same. Are you ready? Back in 2009, I was on a quest to discover the name of my primary spirit guide. And I'd read this book where it talked about asking and asking over and over and over again for your guide to give you an answer to let you know what their name was. So I had begun doing this very, very regularly, and I was kind of obsessed with trying to find out what the name of my guide was. So I can remember this particular day being with my phone outside, working in my yard, planting flowers and listening to music. And this is during the time in my life when my love Mark was actually still alive, and he was the lead guitarist for the band Starship. And I was always very, very aware when I would hear a Starship song because it was kind of like a sign for me, even when he was still alive. I would hear usually 2 or 3 Starship songs a day in stores all over the place, even though we weren't together. And it was just kind of the way I felt connected to him, even though we had absolutely no contact with each other. So this particular night, I went to bed. I was completely alone in my house. And like I said, 2009, think about how different phones were back then. So you could have some music loaded on your phone, and then you would actually plug it into an alarm, would charge it. And then I would have an alarm set for waking up in the morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Well, this particular night I went to bed, and in the middle of the night, and this is way before I really understood the significance of repetitive numbers or times, or that there was an angel spiritual time in the middle of the night. But I was woken up out of a dead sound sleep to the sound of the song Sarah by Starship playing on my phone in full blast. First of all, I don't set my alarm to full blast. Secondly, I had been previously working in the yard listening to my music, and I know for a fact that the last song that played was not Sarah. And back then, you wouldn't have these shuffle modes unless you specifically went in to make it a shuffle mode. So my song would have just been playing song after song after song. I have no idea how the song Sarah was played full blast, but I knew instantly in that moment when I realized, wait a minute, why is my alarm going off? Because it's not even set to go off until 6 a.m. I checked it and it was correct. It was set for 6 o'clock in the morning. I knew that I'd finally gotten my answer, that my spirit guide's name was Sarah. And it's not a name that I was expecting, because in a way, when we hear about spirit guides, and I've heard mediums connect sometimes, or other people talk about their spirit guides, they don't often have a name that is a common, like Anglo-Saxon name for a guide. It wouldn't have been really what I expected. So several years later, I had a medium reading with this man. And I was curious because I knew he was good at naming names. And I asked him if he could connect with the name of my primary spirit guide. And he actually said to me, I'm not very good at connecting with names. And then he's like, hold on a second. And he said, Sarah. And that was my final cooperation that Sarah was indeed and has been indeed my primary guide throughout my entire life. And it was even confirmed one more time through another medium many, many years later. So if you are interested in trying to learn what your spirit guide's name is, begin to ask, and then you've got to be open, receptive to the signs that they're sending you. Maybe you're going to see a name repeated in a book that you're reading. Maybe you're going to see a street sign with that name on it. Maybe you'll hear that name repeated when you're out in public, like somebody's yelling at their kid and they're going, Michael, Michael. Whatever it is, the universe will try to conspire to send you the answer that you're looking for. So that's the story of me uncovering my primary guide's name. So I'm going to talk about four types of guides who are on your team. And the number of guides that you have on your roster is really unknowable. It could be 10, it could be 10,000, and it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you understand that there are guides guiding you and helping you, and that you can connect with them as much as you'd like. Life guides are the guides who are with you, as the name implies, throughout your entire life. There will be at least one primary guide who never leaves you. Like they won't even leave you to take a bathroom break. They are constantly always with you, helping you and guiding you. You also may have specific guides for a certain period of time in your life. For example, you might have a guide that's with you throughout your entire childhood or your early adulthood. These guides will have a specific expertise, and they will know everything about you and your life goals. And they are souls that you know well and that you trust to help you on your journey. So, some of these guides, for example, might come and be with you in your 20s to help you as you raise your kids. And then they might leave when your kids leave because their job is finished. The next type of guides on your team are ancestors. So I've had a medium reading where a medium will bring through an ancestor that I know is in my family lineage, but that I've never met in my lifetime. So, for example, a great grandparent, but it is somebody that you've never had contact with in this current incarnation. So even though you don't know them in this lifetime, think about it. You knew them on the other side in the heavenly realm before you came into your earthly body, right? Because they would have already been there when you were there on the other side. So even though you think you don't know them, these soul connections, absolutely, these ancestors are connected to you. They care about you and they want to be able to work with you. And they can do that in their heavenly form. And for example, I know that there are two definite ancestors who are working with me. I have been told that my great grandmother, Eva, has worked with me. And then my grandma, Carol, who is my dad's mom, who died when my dad was only 2 years old. I am told that it's almost like her soul works with my soul. I'm not her soul, she's not me, but she actually kind of uses my soul to have a lively experience. And that makes sense because her life was cut short very early. And wouldn't she care about and want to have a connection with her son, my dad? And she could certainly do that by using the experiences that my soul's having. Okay, so the next guides that we have on our spirit team are passed away loved ones that you knew in this lifetime. So for me, there are several who have again come through in my medium readings, letting me know that they're around. Mark is my primary guide and the one that I work with the most. And for you, this could be a parent who died when you were young, or a grandparent, could be a favorite aunt, a best friend, a childhood friend, or even a child that you've lost, a sibling, a coach, or a favorite teacher. The point is that you have souls that you knew in this lifetime who are no longer on this earth plane, who have the potential to guide you, and they will work with your spirit team to help where help is needed. My neighbor's wife died from cancer, and when he loses something, he says, Dear, I need your help. And he has some really astonishing stories of things that she's helped him find. So when someone dies, they do not instantly become all knowing. They are still limited by their evolution of their own soul growth. But what they can do is help you. And they love to come to you in your dreams and they want you to know that they're okay. And they send you signs so that you can understand without a doubt that they're still around you and they know what's going on in your life and they love you and they never leave you. So when a child dies, Their soul will still retain the personality of who they were to you on this earth, but it wouldn't be like a baby or a toddler is on the other side guiding you. They would be their more evolved soul version of themselves. So I think you can understand what I mean. Have you ever heard somebody say, oh, they're an old soul? So you do know sometimes on some level that a soul has been around the block a time or two, even if they're a little kid. Our loved ones also love it when you talk to them out loud or in your head. It really doesn't matter. So I will often have an entire conversation out loud with Mark, asking him something or asking him to send me a sign for guidance. Lastly, but certainly not least, we have specialized guides who come into our life at perfect timing to help you with something. So, if you were an inventor, maybe you're working with Thomas Edison, or are you a musician? Maybe Michael Jackson is behind your genius song lyrics. Are you an architect? Frank Lloyd Wright could be whispering ideas in your head. I was told that I have a guide named Michael who is an accomplished writer who helps me with my books. So I think you get the idea. These are guides who may work with you for only a short time. Or, for example, if you're a musician in your 20s, this guide, this specialized guide, might be with you for 50 years. Remember, time is not a factor over there, and the souls on the other side are never too busy to help you. As a matter of fact, I would guess that you aren't the only soul that they are helping from the other side. Any constraint that we can think of with our human minds just does not exist there. The important thing, though, is that you know now that they're around, and I'd like you to think of one area in your life that you've specialized in. So maybe you make jewelry, and maybe you're a gardener or a fantastic cook or an accomplished financial advisor. You can ask these specialized guides to tell you who they are. And I won't guarantee that they have a household name that you'd recognize, like somebody famous. But when you ask, they can help you more and more and more. So before I begin working on a special or important project, I always call on my specialized guides and really my entire spirit team to help me. I think it's funny that when I'm recording a video, if I keep messing it up, it will suddenly dawn on me that I forgot to ask my spirit team for help. And I'll stop and I'll have a quick talk with them. And then miraculously, the next video I record is absolutely perfect. So this is how it works. And I can't tell you how many times things like these have happened to me. So try it. And when you find some techniques that work, share your ideas and your successes.